Breaking news in the Bronx. This is Bronx Fan Central.
What if I told you that the best catcher in the American League could be packing his bags for the Bronx? Bronx Nation, our problem behind home plate might have a solution, but Baltimore is going to demand an outrageous price for it. Stay until the end, because this rumor changes everything. Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes the best deal a rival can make is exactly the one they should never accept? Because that's exactly what's at the center of this story. And if you leave here without understanding the real dilemma, you'll be watching the next few months with your eyes closed. The Yankees entered 2026 with an open wound behind home plate. Austin Wells and J.C. Escarra aren't delivering. Two left-handed hitters, batting averages below 200, and only 4 combined home runs all season. Meanwhile, in Baltimore, Adley Rutschman, a switch-hitting catcher, two-time All-Star, 28 years old, is surfacing in trade rumors while the Orioles sink below the 500 mark. His name has reached the Bronx, and now nobody can stop talking about it. I heard this and my first reaction was, of course, obviously, he's the right player, at the right position, at the right time. But then I took a step back and thought about it. Because when something makes too much sense, that's exactly when you need to be suspicious. And there's a layer here that a lot of people are ignoring. It's not just about the trade price. Jamsta. It's about who's going to be on the other end of the phone when Cashman calls. Bronx Nation, pay attention to this. Rutschman leads all MLB catchers in pitch framing with a +5 framing value. +5. That doesn't show up in the box score. It doesn't make headlines. But it's the kind of thing that wins games in October. Tell me in the comments, did you know that stat? The numbers speak for themselves. Over 5 seasons, Rutschman has accumulated 68 home runs, 259 RBIs, 274 walks, and a WAR of 16.2. His career/line is .254, .343, .416. In 2026, even during a season below his usual standards, he's hitting .252 with 7 home runs and 29 RBIs in 42 games. Now compare that to Wells and Escarra, a combined WAR of 0.1. Wells is hitting .216 against right-handed pitching. Escarra is hitting .116 against right-handed pitching. 116. Bronx Nation. That's not a slump. That's a structural problem. Against right-handed pitchers, Rutschman is batting .263 with an .827 OPS. He solves the exact hole that Wells and Escarra leave open every single time a right-handed pitcher takes the mound. So let me ask you something. If Cashman called you today and said he landed Rutschman, but it would cost 2 or 3 of the organization's best pitching prospects, would you approve the deal? Think carefully before answering, because your answer says a lot about what you truly believe about this team. Here's the heart of the issue. The Orioles may be struggling in the standings, but they're not stupid. They know exactly what they have. Samuel Basallo is emerging as Baltimore's catcher of the future. That's real. But trading Rutschman to the Yankees, to a direct division rival in the AL East that's still alive in the World Series race, that's not just a business decision. That's a political decision inside the clubhouse, inside the fan base, and inside the city. Orioles GM Mike Elias would have to look Baltimore fans in the eye and explain why he helped the team they hate most. And if the Yankees reach the postseason with Rutschman and eliminate the Orioles, or any division rival along the way, that legacy follows Elias forever. So the price isn't just prospects. The price includes political capital that Baltimore may not be willing to spend. Write this down. The Orioles are going to ask for so much that it will sound ridiculous. Not because Rutschman isn't worth it, he absolutely is, but because they're going to price the embarrassment of trading him to a rival into the deal itself. I'll be clear here. The Yankees' starting rotation is essentially locked in through at least 2028. Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Jarrett Cole, Will Warren, and Ryan Weathers. That means the pitching pipeline contains tradable assets. Ben Hess has talent. Bryce Cunningham has upside. Brendan Beck is a name that keeps coming up. None of them are threatening the current rotation. And that's exactly why I would make this move. I'd open the drawer, put 2 or 3 of those names on the table, and say, pick your favorites. Because when I look at a lineup featuring Aaron Judge, Ben Rice, Giancarlo Stanton once he returns, and Adley Rutschman behind the plate, I see a team without an obvious weakness. Right now, there is one. Wells and Ascara are the Achilles heel that every opposing analyst has already identified. I think the media is debating whether the price is too high. But the real question is, what's the cost of doing nothing and arriving in October with this hole still wide open? Picture October, championship series. A right-handed pitcher on the mound. You look toward the dugout and see Wells or Ascara stepping into the batter's box in a defining moment. Can you trust them? I'm calling this right now. If the Yankees don't solve the catcher position before the trade deadline, this team is going to run headfirst into that problem at the exact moment when it can no longer be fixed. And then there won't be anyone left to blame. Bronx Nation, tell me in the comments, do you trust Austin Wells in a 2-out at-bat in the 9th inning of a Game 7? Because I need to hear your answer. In the end, the real dilemma isn't whether Rutschman is worth the price. He is, and everybody knows it. The dilemma is whether Baltimore can separate business from rivalry. Jarmisty the Olivisieth, rears different perspigrings, distort for.
The top, that about terrible persons, you shackness, no curious that.
It's happened before in Major League Baseball. It will happen again. The 28th championship isn't going to fall from the sky. It'll be built through difficult decisions, bold gambles, and trades that make opposing fans swear you made a mistake, until October proves otherwise. Jans Samas, Jans Wire Ryther, Ryan Karzer, Ryan Doerma, Ryan Chai, Ryan Bune State. Dameron Haba being called the spinkled cysts is per two. Johnson call wave from Phi a penil, in bureaus, top it as likes. Years, Figel, you'll tear the plaques perpetuate the mirrors. See you next time, Bronx Nation.